Welcome back to Luxary Auto One, where truth drives the drama and stories come alive through the unexpected turns of power, pride, and justice. Today's story isn't about cars or chrome. It's about a moment so surreal it stopped Hollywood in its tracks. What happened when Meryl Streep, the queen of cinema, sat down with Jimmy Kimmel in 2025? No one could have imagined what was about to unfold. It started off like any other talk show appearance. But it ended with slammed doors, stunned silence, and one of America's most respected actresses being kicked off live television. The audience was buzzing with anticipation. Meryl Streep, known for her grace and eloquence, was making a rare appearance. She was promoting her newest film, a psychological drama about power and corruption. It was already gaining critical acclaim, with whispers of another Oscar nomination. Jimmy Kimmel greeted her with his usual smirk and charm. The band played her in. Applause filled the studio. Everything was set for a night of laughter and light-hearted questions. But Meryl had something else in mind. She wasn't there to play games. As she sat down, her presence immediately shifted the atmosphere. Meryl, dressed in a navy pantsuit and speaking with an unflinching calm, made it clear from the start that she wanted to talk about the real world. Jimmy, on the other hand, was in full late-night host mode, throwing out jokes, fishing for viral moments. The disconnect was obvious. Meryl leaned in and said quietly but firmly, "Jimmy, let's not pretend we don't know what's happening out there." Jimmy chuckled nervously. "You mean the traffic? Because it took me 40 minutes just to get to work." The audience laughed, but Meryl didn't. She replied, "I mean the war. The environment. The power struggles. The people suffering while we sit in this studio pretending everything's fine." There was a sharp silence. Jimmy blinked. "Well, a broken bar, I mean, yeah, it's rough out there, but this is a comedy show, Meryl, and comedy can't be honest?" she asked. "Shouldn't we be talking about things that matter, even here?" Jimmy tried to pivot. "Let's lighten it up. In your new movie, you play a corrupt senator. Was that fun?" Meryl took a breath. "I didn't take the role because it was fun. I took it because people like her exist in real life. And we're letting them destroy our future." The studio got quiet. This wasn't the feel-good segment the producers had planned. The control room buzzed with tension. The director motioned to cut to commercial, but Jimmy waved it off. He wanted control. And he wasn't about to let a guest hijack his show. "Meryl," he said, trying to steer the tone back, "you've been in Hollywood for decades. You've seen it all. Isn't it exhausting to be this serious all the time?" Meryl raised an eyebrow. "No. What's exhausting is pretending everything's fine when it isn't." The audience shifted uncomfortably. Meryl turned to them. "You came here for entertainment. I understand. But do you really want to keep escaping while the world burns around you?" Jimmy interrupted. "This isn't CNN, Meryl." "No," she snapped. "But it could be something more than a distraction." And then it happened. Jimmy laughed mockingly. "You know, it's always the Oscar winners who come on here and try to be saviors. Maybe we just want to hear about your movie and who you wore to the premiere." Meryl's expression didn't change. Maybe that's why nothing changes. The room froze. No one knew what to do. This wasn't part of the script. Jimmy leaned back in his chair, clearly irritated. "Look," he said, "if you're gonna come on my show and lecture me, maybe you shouldn't come at all." Meryl calmly stood up. She didn't raise her voice. Didn't curse. Didn't storm out. She simply said, "Maybe I won't," and then she walked off stage. The studio was silent. The band didn't play. The cameras kept rolling. Jimmy looked off stage, waiting for someone to yell cut. No one did. Within minutes, social media exploded. Some called Meryl brave. Others said she was out of line. Some defended Jimmy. Others demanded an apology. But the real story didn't end there. What no one saw coming was the clip unedited going viral. Millions watched it within hours. Celebrities weighed in. Actors like Viola Davis, Mark Ruffalo, and Zendaya praised Meryl for using her platform. Journalists highlighted how late-night shows have become echo chambers for empty humor, too afraid to rock the boat. But the most shocking response came from inside the network. An anonymous producer leaked that Meryl had requested, before the interview, to include a segment about global hunger. She even